Good morning, guys. It's what is today? April 26th, Sunday. It's early. It's a little after 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm crazy. I slept a lot yesterday and I was just wide awake and I didn't feel like sitting in my house. So I've been out since like, I don't know, what time did I leave my house? Probably about 1 o'clock in the morning. And I just been I was riding around for a while, and now I'm just over here in my parents' town and just kind of waiting for the time when I can go over and hang out with them this morning. It's funny because I got over here kind of early and I was just sitting here in the parking lot, and then of course the cops start like, what is he doing? Is he getting ready to rob this place? I hate that way. You can't just sit in your car and just pass time because in a shopping center at 2 o'clock in the morning because the cops start snooping around. I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here, but they don't know. They were, I was starting to think they're gonna come over here and start asking me questions or whatever. And it's like, so then I left and I started driving around some more, and then I came back. The cops were gone, but I'm just waiting for them to show up over here again. And now I'm back and they're really gonna start snooping. It's like, people, just leave me alone. I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here in my car, minding my own business. But anyway, so I'm probably going to go over here and buy some gas. I've only got about a quarter of a tank left, so I probably need to go buy some gas. But I'm tired now. It's been a week. Work has been really, I don't know. I like my job. I do. But I feel like I've got so many different things being thrown at me, and it's just been like just chaos. It just feels like work is a little bit of chaos here lately. And I've been so worn out after work that I haven't been doing my side gig as much because I just want to go home. I just want to go home and relax after my crazy work day. And this week I got to get back at it, so I will be door dashing this week. I'm getting ready. I'll be going to Florida next month in May to spend some time with my daughter, and you know how expensive it is to do anything in the United States anymore. So if I'm going to do this, I have to go and make some extra money. I mean, I've got the money to do it. I've already reserved the hotel and everything, but it's just, I gotta hit my other financial goals and everything. So it is just really expensive to do anything anymore. And it's like, I make decent money with my primary job, but I just feel like, man, I need like an extra 10,000 a year. I'm not even really joking. I mean, it's like the cost of things, just since I started this job. I started working there about 3 years ago, and every year I've gotten a little cost of living adjustment, which has been, but he pays me, he raises my income about 3%, which you guys know. I mean, that's just, I mean, I'm losing purchasing power. I mean, because let's just face it, the cost of living has gone up a lot more than just 3% a year. It's been a horrendous, I don't know. It's like, I'm curious what you guys think that actual inflation rate, the real rate of, the cost of living has gone up. Because here's the thing. I've even paid off some debt. I mean, I've gotten bills. I've knocked some bills off of me. I've paid off a lot of my debt over the last couple of years, and it's still stressful. And I feel like, if I don't DoorDash, if I don't run my DoorDash thing, it's like my primary income, I'm barely breaking even with my primary income, even though I've paid off debt. And it's like, what? And then I go and look at my bills, and it's like, what? Where is the money going? I should have some extra money just because I've paid off debt. Well, my mortgage payment has gone up some because of the escrow, right? So that went up like, I think that went up this year like around $70 a month, which I mean isn't a ton, but it's, it's there. And then of course food. And the thing is, I have noticed that I've been eating out a little bit more here lately. That I need to rein in. That's on me. And I think what it is, it's not even that I even like to eat out. It's just, it's the convenience factor. I'm bad about cooking and doing meal prep and stuff, and I've just got to do it. I've got to do it. So this afternoon, after I leave my parents' house, I will be making a trip to the grocery store to meal prep for this week so that I'm not buying fast food, or what I like to call, I don't like to call it fast food. I like to call it fat food. Fat food. It doesn't help that at work every day there's a one of the food trucks. They have the food trucks out right outside our building. It makes it just so easy to go down and get some food. But but you go and buy food off the food truck, it's $20. It's $20 for lunch. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. So I'm not doing that anymore. That's got to be cut out. I used to do it just once a week, which isn't so bad. If you go to the food truck once a week, and I could probably still do that. But when I'm going 3 times a week, I mean, you're talking $60 a week. That's crazy. See, my goal is, I budget for myself $400 a month for food. My food budget is $400 a month. If you go to the food truck 3 days a week, you're not going to be able to do that. That's not going to. I'm over budget for sure. So I'm going to get back on track with that this week. Anyway, I need more recipes. I need to go and look for some recipes for things for food prepping, because I make chili. Chili is one of the things I'll put in a crock pot, cook a big crock pot of chili, and that's my, I'll have lunches for the week, and it's like, but then people are like, you eat chili every day for lunch? It's like, well, yeah, it does kind of get old, and then I'll mix one food truck meal in there, but then it's like, I need to maybe make a salad. I could take salads or something, but that kind of gets old too, and then it's like, but I need to find some other recipes for things. Anyway, I feel like a zombie right now. I think a lot of us feel that way. Do any of you also feel like zombies? It's like all we do right now, my whole life, is work, sleep, repeat. Get up, go to work, including my side hustle, go home, go to bed, get up and repeat. It's getting old. I think Americans are tired of that. They want to have a life. They want to be able to enjoy at least a portion of their lives, and they don't feel like they can right now. And I know we've been a little pampered, it's like, but I don't know. Have we really been? I mean, maybe a little bit, but I think about when I was in Spain, and let me tell you a little bit of the difference. When people in Spain, the way of life over there, you have to understand, everybody lives in cities over there. There's not much outside the cities. Everyone pretty much lives in the city. They get up in the morning, but things don't get going in Spain until about 8, usually about 8 in the morning. And so things don't start really opening until about 9 o'clock in the morning. And so people start their work days around 9 a.m. About 2 p.m., everything would well, I feel like the siesta, the last time I was there in 2021, I noticed that it seems like the siesta is kind of going away in Spain, at least a little bit. There was a lot more open in the afternoon than there used to be, because I lived there in the 1990s. When I was there in the 90s, 2 o'clock came along, just about everything was closed except for restaurants where people would get food. But other than that, everything was closed. Now, in 2021, I noticed that like grocery stores were open in the afternoon. It wasn't that way in the 90s. In the 90s, grocery stores were closed. Well, now I noticed they're open a little bit more. So, but traditionally, everything closes at 2. Everybody goes home. They have a meal with their families. They would sit and have a meal with their family in the afternoon around 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock was like the normal lunchtime in Spain. And you go home and you have the siesta, and you're at home for like 3 hours. People would eat, and then they would watch a little TV, maybe nap a little bit, but then they would go back to work. So, well, not everybody, but a lot of places would reopen at around 5 o'clock, and they would work until maybe 7 or 8. So like 3 hours maybe in the evening, and then they go home. But then what they would do is they would go home to their family, and their family would go for a walk. You just go they call it in Spain, dar un paseo. They go for a walk in town. And they might stop at one of the little bars and get some tapas, get some tapas, get a drink. And then around 10 o'clock is dinner time in Spain. That's the normal dinner time, 10 o'clock at night. So they would have dinner at 10 o'clock. And then, bedtime, people, I mean, this is like during the work week. I'm talking like 2 o'clock in the morning. That was pretty normal. That was like normal in Spain, because they're out and they're socializing and they're doing things. They're talking to people, and, they've got friends and a community, and they're talking to the people and interacting with people and some people, the youth, like teenagers, well, maybe a little old, they're out until like 4 a.m. I mean, and I'm not even joking. The last time I was over there in 2021, I remember I had to catch a cab to go to the airport when I was leaving, and it was like 4 a.m. that I got the cab, because my flight out was like at like 6 a.m. So, and there were young people everywhere out. This was in Madrid, but even in like the other cities like Seville and other cities, the young people are out. They're hanging out with each other and doing things and just, I don't know. Here in the United States, we're all in bed by like 9 now. It's like because we're tired from our work day, and we have to get up and go to work the next day. We have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. They don't do that. They're just now going to bed at 5 o'clock in the morning. The young people. Now the adults that have to work, they're usually in bed by like 2. But I don't know. It does feel like you had more of a life in Spain, even though financially, on paper, Americans are better off. But when I think about it, I look at it, I'm like, why does it feel like we're not? And I think it's just the cost of living here in the United States is higher. It's like here in the United States, it's almost impossible to have a place to live without at least a $2,000 a month payment. Whereas, fortunately for me, my mortgage, even with the HOA and everything, I pay about, let me see, with the HOA, I'm paying 140. I'm paying about 12.25 a month for a house, for a decent size house in a decent area, actually. I bought my house right before interest rates and everything skyrocketed. So I bought my house in November of 2021 and it was $168,000. And it's about 1,700 square feet. It was built in 1982. But it's a nice house. It's a nice house. It doesn't have any problems. I don't even have to do yard work. I do have a patio area that I maintain, but the common areas, the HOA mows and does all that stuff. And I live in like a cluster home community. It's like the homes, they don't have attached walls. I have a house. It's an individual home. My walls don't touch any of my neighbors' houses' walls, but the houses are close together. You have just a lot of, and I kind of like it because there's a bit of a safety factor there. That when you look at the crime map of my city, nothing ever happens in that neighborhood. It's just because everybody's close together, And I live half a mile from a hospital. There is in fact, the people that owned my house before, a doctor had owned my home before I bought it. The doctor passed away. His wife sold it to me. His widow sold it to me. He had owned it for a while, one of the doctors at the hospital. And I think they had owned it, and I think I think their son had lived there for a while. I don't know. Anyway, but I live like literally half a mile from the hospital. I live half a mile from the mall, the big mall in our town. And it's a safe area, and I'm right in the middle of everything. And I bought the house for $168,000. I got a 3.25% interest rate, and it's 1,700 square feet. It's not a bad deal. So my mortgage payment is $1,075 a month, and I pay $140 a month for HOA. It's not bad. So, but I know a lot of other people that are paying mortgage payments $2,000 a month plus. In Spain, I think the average person is probably paying $800 a month for housing. You don't even have to own a car in Spain. You don't even need one. You don't need a car in Spain because everything is so close. So you can get by without owning a car. Some people do have cars, but you don't need one. So you have an $800 a month housing payment plus utilities and stuff. So all in with utilities, let's call it $1,000 a month in Spain. You don't have to pay for health insurance. It's paid for by your taxes. You do pay income taxes there. Food seemed, at least when I was there, was a lot cheaper than here. I think the food cost is a lot lower. And to be honest, the quality was a lot better. I am hearing that food costs have risen in Spain, probably similar. It's risen here too. I still think food costs are probably lower in Spain than they are here. Let's call food for a family of 4 let's say that you're probably spending maybe $400 a month, maybe $400 to $500 a month for a family of 4 for food over there. So now you're $1,500 a month, let's call it, with your housing and food. And then it's just, what else do you spend money? What else? I mean, you can easily live, a family of 4 can easily live on $2,000 a month in Spain. Pretty easily, I would even say. In most of the towns, maybe not in Madrid or the big cities, but in average everyday towns, just normal towns in Spain, I think you could easily live on $2,000 a month, a family of 4. Here in the United States, man, I mean, I'm a single guy, and I make about $90,000 a year total. My total household income, my personal income, because I live by myself. I make around $90,000 a year, and it's like, it is, and even with my mortgage being, all in $1,200 a month, with everything else. And because it's not just about your expenses. It's not just the expenses. You have to save for retirement. I carry life insurance in case something happens to me for my kids, things that I'm not getting really any benefit from. It's like all these extra expenses like that. I mean, I do save. I am saving a lot right now. I put 12% into my work plan. I get a 3% match. So 15% of my pay is going into my retirement account. Plus I have a Roth IRA that I'm funding. Then, I'm paying for life insurance. I have, I do pay child support, which is a chunk. I pay about $700 a month in child support. My youngest is starting high school this fall. So I've got about 4 more years of child support, and then I'll be done. And that will go away. And every penny of that will go into my retirement savings. That'll be nice. I mean, I love my daughter. To be honest, I still help even my oldest daughter. I don't have child support for my oldest daughter, but I'm giving her money every month, and I'm sure that's going to be the same for my youngest daughter. So all of that, not all of that's going to go to my retirement funds. I'll still be sending but I would, right now I'm giving my oldest daughter $200 a month. My youngest, I'm building a college savings fund because I'm sure there'll be costs for her going to school and all. So I'm putting money in a 529 account for her for that. So that's another funding. That's another thing that's coming out of my paycheck, my expenses. I am trying to pay down debt. That's still a thing. I'm paying my car payment, but I'm paying about $300 a month, principal only payments of $300 a month, in addition to my regular car payment. My car payment is $480, so I'm putting $780 a month on my car. What else? I've got utilities at the house, but my utilities, let's see. My electric bill varies. In the summer and in the winter, the bill's higher. Right now, it's pretty reasonable, but summer and winter, especially the winter, summer is fairly manageable. Winter, I don't know what the deal is with the winter time, but my goodness, that bill just really, really spikes in the winter time. It's like, I even kept the temperature down. Like, I think I set it at like like 64 in the house or something like that. It's still high. This is like, my gosh, man. It's like double, it was like more than double in January. I think the bill for January was like more than double what the normal bill is. It's like, I almost feel like they rip us off. Like the electric companies. I don't know. I don't know. But it's just kind of crazy how high that jumps in January. Summer it does go up some, but not nearly as much as the winter. I think that I don't know. What do you guys think about I just look at the costs here and it's just like, man, no wonder people were trying to leave the United States. It's just so expensive to live here. I mean, I'm a single person making about $90,000 a year. And I'm sitting here. You know what I'm really thinking? How in the world are people living that have kids and are earning like 40,000-50,000 a year? How in the I don't know how y'all were doing it. I mean, I guess they have to be getting some kind of government assistance. They would have to be. I just don't see how they're making it otherwise. I really don't. I don't know. Anyway, people are stressed out, and people just aren't. We just don't have. We don't have the same kind of community where you're going out and you're socializing with other people. It's like you kind of stay off to yourself or with your family, you know. And I feel like people are just a lot closer in Spain and it's socialized more than we do here. Anyway, I think it does enhance their quality of life there. The thing about the United States, though, it's like everybody here. If you live close in cities, you have to worry. You really have to worry a lot more about crime. You have to worry about these nut jobs with guns, and you have to worry about. I mean, I believe in the Second Amendment. You know, I believe being able to protect yourself and your family, but then it's just so easy for nut jobs to get guns that will pull out a gun for the slightest little offense, that they take to somebody. They're ready to pull out a gun. It's like I believe in the Second Amendment, but I also believe that people have to be responsible with that right, and people will just start pulling out guns for any little slight, for the slightest little provocation. And it's just, people are too unhinged and irresponsible to have guns. There's just too many people that are just too irresponsible and unhinged to have guns. And so, there needs to be, I do think that there needs to be accountability for that. But anyway, you guys have a great day. I'm getting ready to go I'm gonna go put some gas in my car, and I'll be going over to my parents' house around 7, so got a little bit of time to wait. Anyway, this is American Night checking out. Don't get too stressed out there. Stay level-headed. I think a lot of Americans are kind of losing hope, and I think that we will turn a corner eventually and things will start getting better. It's just occasionally we go through tough times, and that's just I think that's the period where we're at right now. I think it will eventually turn around and things will start improving again. It's just we got to get through this, get through the hard time. All right, you guys, have a good Sunday, and this is American Night signing out.